about time.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Frisco Report. It is Tuesday, and you know what that means. Me and Joe is about to blow your mind with some Cowboy news. Joe, how are you?
We're doing real good tonight. Ready to get into these topics of the Cowboys. It's never a dull moment in Cowboys land.
Never. And we're just going to jump into this, guys. We're going to talk about the NFLPA holding player meetings. We're going to talk about, should the Cowboys add another wide receiver? And if so, how are they going to do it? And then most likely to happen, right? We brought you outside the box last week. Now we're going to bring you what's more likely to happen. So stay tuned for that. But Joe, let's jump into this. Tell me what you know about the NFLPA holding meetings with these players.
Yeah, so Randall Cobb, a former wide receiver of the Cowboys, now playing with the Houston Texans, he sent out a tweet to all his players that encouraging them to all join this phone call that's going to take place on Thursday, basically to outline expectations for the season, details like that. So, I'm pretty sure they're going to talk about what to expect, testing, what happens if somebody gets sick, what's the protocol going to be, from the NFL Players Association, because at the end of the day, these guys need to take care of themselves as well. They have families, contracts. How is everything going to get played out? But I think that's going to be an interesting phone call, and I think more news will come from this. So everybody keep an eye on that one there on Thursday.
Yeah, definitely keep an eye out on it because, it's going to determine a lot. They're already talking about cutting training camp to 75 to 80 players. So you can already see 15 players cut before this thing even kicks off. And they hadn't earned a paycheck. They haven't even earned anything. I don't even know if the Dallas Cowboys even signed their draft picks yet. So, there's a lot going on here at stake for a bunch of lives right now due to this COVID stuff. And, even outside of football too, Joe. But, I think it's smart. These players need to be informed because it's all about their health. Yes, as fans, we want football, but we don't want to be greedy and just say, put them out there.
Yeah. Fans
or no fans. So I'm so glad the Players Association is taking this stuff seriously, Joe.
Absolutely. It's all about communication, football, baseball, whatever sports is, people on their own jobs. You got to be informed because sometimes information is scarce, so it's good to keep the communication lines open with the players.
Will there be, a reduced season? Will there be a full season, Joe?
So, this is the question we've been talking about here at the Frisco Report for a while, and Goodell, says that it's a full go, but then you get DeMaurice Smith, who's, the guy over there at the NFLPA that says, he's not so sure. So, you're hearing different things from different people. Rodney Harrison, former player, Patriots, he came out and said, how is this going to happen? How are they really going to have an NFL season? So it seems like more and more people are kind of starting to speak out on this. It's making me a little nervous. Like, I think we're just going to have to see how it goes with basketball. They're going to be the ones that are going to really hit this thing hit the ground running, to say. Yeah, I think that's going to be a little bit of a clue. If they're able to handle this, I think it bodes well for the NFL season. So we'll see, man.
My mindset, Joe, right off the bat, there's not going to be an NFL season because if I train my brain to think, yes, there is going to be an NFL season, and there's not, I'm going to be devastated. It's going to hurt. So I'm going in with the mindset, pretty much, hoping for the worst, but praying for the best. You know what I mean? So that's my mindset. And, a lot of people, are thinking the same way too. And we'll see, man. That's to be determined. But moving on here, let's talk about the Cowboys wide receiver depth, Joe. Should the Cowboys add another wide receiver, right? We got Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, the first round pick, and CeeDee Lamb. Are you comfortable with a guy like Devin Smith or Walk me through your mindset on this wide receiving core.
Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of us have gotten a little bit complacent on, the depth here at wide receiver. Just that we got these three Ferraris. We talk about Cooper. We talk about, CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, who, both these guys, Cooper and Gallup had 1,000-yard seasons. Like that in itself is an amazing feat. So getting Lamb, has everybody thinking, oh, we're going to be unstoppable. What happens if there's an injury? Knock on wood. Mm-hmm. But then you got to move people around. Who then becomes a slot guy? And how much faith do you have in Devin Smith? What's the story behind that? Was it Devin Smith not getting along with Sanjay Law? We kind of heard a little bit of rumblings that, the receivers, weren't really getting along with Sanjay Law and that kind of thing. So will he get another shot at this legitimate shot? Does somebody step up from the undrafted, realms? John Vay Johnson, these guys, they just don't really give me that much confidence, and I think that's why training camp, and if we get any preseason games, it's going to be really, really big. But for me right now, I feel that outside the top three, it's a whole bunch of question marks, like you just have too many question marks for me. So that being said, I feel like the Cowboys should be proactive and maybe, see how things look in camp, in preseason. Maybe they do something before all this even starts. Maybe they make a trade. So free agent trades. What's your feeling on it, Mike?
Well, yeah, you talk about the preseason, right? And there already talks, and not to backtrack from our first topic, but they're talking about taking away 2 preseason games, with the Cowboys would lose 3 of them, right? But I'm looking at the Cowboys wide receiver depth here. Noah Brown, excuse me. We got Ventel Bryant, John Vay Johnson. You talked about Tevin Jones, Aaron Parker. Devin Smith, Cedric Wilson. If there's just going to be 2 preseason games, there's not going to be a lot to judge these guys on, unless they really wow during training camp and they shut down our corners like a Trayvon Diggs or Cheeto Bay and Anthony Brown. Like they have to wow this coaching staff. But I'm with you, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if they go out there and try to go get him a wide receiver. To upgrade that, because your 4th wide receiver, who does it back up? Amari Cooper. It backs up Michael Gallup. It backs up the X and the Y. We're fortunate that CeeDee Lamb can play all 3 positions, but if something goes down, it's happened before on NFL football teams. Both of your stud wide receivers go down. We can't put the whole boatload on a rookie in CeeDee Lamb. I say go out there and go get you somebody.
Yeah, and a couple of names to keep in mind. I did this way early in the offseason, and it's still a couple of players that really are still on my radar. Curtis Samuel, the Panthers, came out in the 2017 draft as a running back, has a 4.31 speed. His progression has been a little slow, but last season he had a pretty decent amount of receptions. Could he be had in a trade? He's a guy to keep an eye on. He can give you a little bit of pop in the return game as well. Christian Kirk from the Arizona Cardinals. I've seen people talk about him as well. This is a player I've mentioned as well. 5'11" out of A&M, plays for the Cardinals, 4.47 speed in the 40. Hasn't really caught on there with the Cardinals, and they have a lot of receivers in the mix now. They have Andy Isabella, and they have new players that they're continuing to add in. So is he an odd man out? Maybe they want to flip him and get something in return before he hits free agency. And he's young. What I like about the Cowboys, they try to make moves where they get some youth. So Samuel, Christian Kirk, 23 and 24. Doris Fountain out of the Colts, 6'2", 210. Okay, pretty fast guy, possession receiver. Cowboys brought him in during the 30 visits during that draft class. He suffered an injury, cut his season short. So would he be a possibility? Kenny Stills is another one from the Texans. Why I like him, 6'1", he's an 8-year veteran, and he's with the Texans. right now the Texans are ripe for getting their eyes poked out. They continue to make bad trades. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm making a phone call, see if you can nab him for a 6th-round pick and poke their eyes out. Kenny Stills is a guy to keep an eye on. The other thing that I want people to also keep in mind is who's going to be your return guy. Is it going to be a Ventel Bryant? Is it going to be Tony Pollard? Who is it going to be?
That's a good question.
One interesting note, Mike. Darius Anderson, the undrafted free agent for the Cowboys, running back out of TCU, has kick return experience. He did it at TCU, so I think this is a player that the Cowboys might want to mold into. But Fossil wants to get a playmaker there in the return game, and if you look at some of the teams around the league, it's actually a position of value for some teams. The Dolphins, they just extended Jakeem Grant, a 5'7", 170-pound return guy. He got a 4-year extension, $24 million, $6 million a year for a return guy. So some teams are starting to get on board with, you got to have that specialist. We talk about being complete in all phases of the game. Cowboys, they might consider a move like that to make a trade. Fossil, if he doesn't see a guy on the team, may knock on McCarthy's door and say, hey, we got to get somebody in here.
Guys, did y'all just hear that? Did y'all just hear that breakdown from Joe? That's why I love working with this man. He talked about contracts from other teams. He talked about players, hidden gems on other teams. This is why I love working with only the best of the best right here on the Frisco Report. Take that knowledge, soak that stuff in, Joe. Wow. How do you do it? That was homework with extra credit, bro.
Yeah, that's what we do here, man. That we want to give this content out to you guys on a weekly basis. No fluff, just pure, stuff to keep in mind, something to put into your head,
That was great work, Joe.
Absolutely.
That was great work. But no, I think you hit it right on the head with a lot of those players. And Jerry Jones, he'll find you a gem. He found Cole Beasley, unrestricted, undrafted free agent. He found Miles Austin, undrafted free agent. He can go find you some players, whether it's on the street, whether it's going to be a tryout before training camp starts, via trade. Now, you can come at me with, they really haven't been really good at trading wide receivers, but, the last taste of my mouth, Joe, was Amari Cooper. And I'm not even looking for an Amari Cooper. I'm looking for someone that can back up Amari Cooper, someone that can play the slot, someone that can back up Michael Gallup. That's all I'm asking for, because none of the players on this team, they don't wow me. And I hate to say that because I haven't even seen them.
Yeah.
But there's still cause for concern there. And if I was going to play a game right now and I lose Amari Cooper, it's going to be hard for Dak Prescott to, be that 40-burger team that everyone wants to be.
Yeah, you got to have all contingency plans. Not only, some of this conversation, obviously, we're talking about sustaining injuries and what do you do if your depth gets hurt. You also got to keep in mind the whole COVID thing. If a player gets sick, you have to imagine they're going to be quarantined for 14 days minimum. Some people stay positive for weeks, so that's something to keep in mind. So if you can bolster this roster, Mike, and you and I have been on top of this since the get-go, get better, don't settle.
And that's for any position. We talked about a lot of these positions, especially on defense.
Yeah.
But that's for every position, guys. So keep that in mind. But Joe, let's move into our little segment here.
Let's do it.
Most likely to happen, right? Most likely to happen. Zeke, 1,500 yards, or Amari Cooper, 1,500 yards in 16 games?
I'm going to go with Ezekiel Elliott, 1,500 yards. I feel that I think they're going to spread the ball more out, at the wide receiver with Coop, Lamb, Gallup. Not to say that it can't happen, but for me, my money's more on Zeke running behind this, hopefully, improved offensive line.
That's a no-brainer, Joe, because Zeke will get you 1,300 yards a year. He led the NFL 2 out of the 4 years that he's been in the league, or 2 out of 5, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Statistics are good. But I'm going to go with the oddball here. I'm going to say it's more likely to happen that Amari Cooper gets 1,500 yards. Kellen Moore actually gets to spread his wings and fly under a head coach like Amari Cooper. You look at the wide receivers that Aaron Rodgers had. Jordan Nelson's one of them. He's had good numbers. He's been to multiple Pro Bowls under Mike McCarthy's offense. Zeke, with Tony, we've been screaming, Tony Pollard, touch more balls. We're going to give our star running back, we're going to save his legs for the entire season because when it comes to playoffs, that's where we're going to pound you, Joe. So it's more likely that Amari Cooper gets 1,500 yards. And, people are coming at me now. Hey, we got CeeDee Lamb. We got Michael Gallup. Last time I checked, Amari Cooper had 1,000. Michael Gallup had 1,000. And Randall Cobb was only 200 yards away from 1,000. You can still distribute, and people still can eat, Joe.
Yeah, for sure. We'll keep an eye on that for the season and follow up and see what happened. Hopefully both happen.
If both happen and your defense gets 40 sacks, if the Cowboys ain't in the Super Bowl, something went wrong.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, number 2, Gerald McCoy, 6 sacks, or the secondary with 6 interceptions?
I'm going to go with Gerald McCoy on this one, only because he has a history of getting sacks and to the quarterback, and he's transformed his body to come off the ball quicker. He's a little bit leaner. So I do see him getting the 6 sacks. For the secondary, I got to see it. Who's going to step up and nab those passes, out of the air? Who's it going to be? I got to see it.
It's funny. Gerald McCoy is going to get you 5 sacks anyway. His stats show it. So, Joe, I'm going opposite. I'm going that this defense, the secondary, I wouldn't call it no purge squad. That's dead and gone. But this new and improved 4-3 hybrid 3-4 defense. I heard Xavier Woods speak. I just heard Jordan Lewis speak on DC.com, right? They're hungry for this football. They get to play to their strengths. We seen Jordan Lewis play to his strengths.
Yeah.
He got picks. I can't wait to see it. I seen Xavier Woods play to his strengths in Louisiana Tech. He got picks, Joe. I'm excited to see this defense finally get interceptions. And I think I'm going to say Gerald McCoy still gets his 6 sacks. But I'm going to predict right now, Joe, that the secondary gets 13-plus turnovers.
13 turnovers or 13 interceptions?
Hey.
Let's get some clarity here.
All right. I'm going to give you guys some clarity here. 13 interceptions.
Yeah, so that's a bold prediction. That's a segment we're definitely going to hit up here again. We'll have to revisit that. That's definitely a bold prediction. Now, again, if we hit both these marks, man, we got to be in the playoffs. And those are lofty numbers. And if you nail them, you're in great position.
I don't even think Cowboys had a 3-tech to even crack more than 5 sacks. I mean, David Irving played the 1, so don't get that confused. I don't even think Malik Collins ever got close to 5 sacks. So if McCoy can get 6 sacks out of that 3 technique, it hasn't been done in a while, Joe.
Yeah, I think Malik had 5. I want to say like maybe his rookie year or year 2. He had it early in his career. But yeah, it's been rare. We haven't had a good pass rusher from the defensive tackle position since Jason Hatcher. And that was a move too little, too late. They should have had Hatcher there throughout his career, but they had to deal with different coaching changes and that kind of thing. With Parcells, Phillips, Garrett. So a wasted talent, Jason Hatcher out of Grambling. Hell of a player, wasted that talent, man. So yeah, man. So hopefully one of these 3 techs can get out here and outshine somebody. Maybe we get a surprise like Neville Gallimore. But yes, you're absolutely right. Malik Collins in 2016 did have 5 sacks at the 3 tech position. But I hope both of them happen, Joe. Yeah, for sure. Last but not least, CeeDee Lamb, CD with 7 TDs, or Blake Jarwin at 700
receiving yards?
I'm gonna go with CeeDee Lamb 7 touchdowns. I think that's a good mark. I broke down the expectations of a first round wide receiver and what they do in the Cowboys 88 club, and the averages are lower than that, right? But I think CeeDee Lamb is in a great position right now. He comes onto a good team that's really stacked on the offensive line, wide receivers to open up things. Your running back, you can't stack the box. Somebody's going to get open, and for me, CeeDee Lamb, he has a chance to be eating there buffet style, getting touchdowns, whether it's on the outside, inside, whatever. So I'm going for that. Jarwin, I feel like he will have a decent season, but generally speaking, tight ends haven't had that much yardage here for the Cowboys. 700, I think, is a high number. Could it happen? Maybe, but I want the ball to get to my playmakers. I feel it's the wide receivers.
I think that's a great point, and I'm actually going to agree with you on this. I honestly think CeeDee Lamb gets 7 TDs. I can see that happening from that slot position, from the X, from the Y, on sweep right reverses. You know what I'm saying? I can see him getting 7 touchdowns, Joe. But that's no knock on Blake Jarwin, guys.
No.
Because we finally got rid of the guy, the GOAT, the legend, Jason Witten. And now they try to give him the realms with Jeff Swaim and Dalton. What's his name? Schultz.
Yeah.
Was a rookie, and it just didn't work out, right? Now he got to study more, Jason Witten. That didn't take things for granted. He even said conversations got a little heated, but it's just for him to develop under a GOAT like Jason Witten, right? So I can still see Jarwin getting 500, maybe high 500 yards, because we've seen him, run those tight end post routes. We've seen him run the seam route on a play action. Those were big splash plays that Blake Jarwin can still capitalize on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he definitely is going to have the opportunity. And if it doesn't happen this year, they will move on. That's one thing I do feel confident in Coach McCarthy, that, he doesn't have a long window of trying to develop a player. He'll bring in other guys in here. So we do want that to happen, though. We do want Blake Jarwin to be that guy, to pass that torch, and so we don't have to blow a pick on a tight end.
The last one of more likely to happen. Is it going to be who's starting at the strong safety position? Clinton Dix or Donovan Wilson? Who can start there, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you got Clinton Dix on the 1 year deal, right? So it's a 1 year deal, so it's more of a prove it deal. Can he salvage his career? He's kind of bounced around a little bit, Packers, Bears, Redskins. So there's something there, and looking at some of his film, you see issues there with tackling and things like that. So. We'll see. Donovan Wilson looked really, really well, and I just feel that if he takes that next level with his coach now in the mix, he might have an inside track to it. And we've talked about this. The Cowboys bring in, whether it's a George Iloka or one of these other guys, and people get all enamored, and they end up not even making the team. Not to say Clinton Dix won't make the team, but it really wouldn't surprise me if they just really go with the better player. McCarthy's going to do that.
Yep.
McCarthy's going to go with the better player. So, and if it's Donovan Wilson, let's roll with it. Let's go. Let's rock and roll.
I'm trying to piece this here, Joe, right? We got Clinton Dix. We got Donovan Wilson. You still got restricted tenders that you can still use on a guy like Donovan Wilson, right? And no, I take that back. You don't, because he was drafted. But he's still going to be there for the cheap, right? So I'm looking at this, right? Clinton Dix 1 year deal. Do you sit Donovan Wilson, let him develop, and then plug him in when it matters and get his feet wet before the playoffs? Do you take that risk? Do you take that chance? Or do you get a seasoned vet in there this is his fourth team? Yes, he was drafted by Mike McCarthy's staff and stuff, but I honestly think that you could possibly see Ha start and Donovan Wilson go in there and clean it up.
Yeah, no, that's definitely in the realm of possibility, and I think that's something that we're going to see in the secondary in general. I think same thing on the outside with Trayvon Diggs. Maybe they start to, maybe Worley's out there, maybe it's Anthony Brown. Who somebody's going to be out there competing with Trayvon Diggs, right? But at the end of the day, right. I think eventually Trayvon moves. I feel the same, I think you make a good point there about safety because, and they've done this before where they give the vet the keys or whatever, but then they want to take a look. They want to see if they can get better there. So, yeah, man, that for me, I think would be the ideal situation. Let him get his feet wet and take over, and then you can squash all of this trade talk about one of these high-end safeties. Can we please develop somebody? And if they can't, then draft somebody. Draft their safety early.
I don't think that those strong safety talks are ever gonna, work out.
Yeah.
Jeff Heath, he had his moments, but he was consistent, right? And fans been calling for his head for years. Even if I don't think Donovan Wilson, if he got that starting role late, I don't think that he can ever meet the fans' mind expectation of what a strong safety is supposed to do, Joe.
And he's a really good safety. I think even him, he can interchange. He's got the ball skills. He's a ball hawk. He can play the run. So he does give you that a little bit of that flexibility. So I like that about him. I like Donovan Wilson. He comes from a good program there out of A&M, and like we keep saying, his coach is here now. So he already knows the player. So it's good. It's a good situation to be in for him.
And that will help my prediction for the my prediction, my bold prediction on the defense getting 13 interceptions. Ball hawk like Donovan Wilson, it just ties in hand for me, Joe.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've had a ball hawk at the safety position.
Yeah, that's an understatement too.
Yeah, it's been probably decades. It's crazy.
Exactly. But Joe, do you have anything on your end?
That's it, guys. That's all we have tonight. Lots of great topics. I hope you guys really enjoyed these tonight.
Definitely, guys. Put your answer in the comment section below, wherever you're at. I will respond to them. I'll like it. And let's engage. But Joe, where can they even find this at?
You can find this on video on YouTube at Cowboys Blog, and you can also find the audio podcast on Podbean, Apple iTunes, Google Podcast, and Spotify. So we have this everywhere, guys. If you prefer the video, we do now have this available now on my channel, Cowboys Blog. And make sure you follow us on Twitter at The Frisco Report, and hit up the website, www.thefriscoreport.com. We have the schedule out there. Draft classes from previous seasons are out there. If you want to look at some history, we have it there. And merch. If you want to hit up merch like this here, Cowboys Blog, Captain, hit it up, grab you one, and tag us in it.
Absolutely. And I don't want to shy you guys away from the podcast because any platform is great work, but I highly suggest go to Cowboys Blog's YouTube channel, click on that video, and just watch all the edits Joe puts in. I mean, last week was our test run, Joe, and I got to tell you, man, that was beautiful work on the editing. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, and we can't do it without our subscribers. They help build what we have today. So shout out to every single one of you guys. Hit subscribe, hit that bell notification channel, and hit up my boy over here, Mike. Hit him up.
And you can hit me up, Dallas Cowboy Football News on YouTube and on Facebook, DCF News 1 on Twitter, guys. Just give me a mention, give me a follow, give me a DM. That's how the conversation starts, guys. Until next Tuesday, this has been your Frisco Report. Peace.
Peace.